Hello and welcome to Seen Through Glass. Welcome back to Los Angeles, California. If you haven't seen my latest videos, I'm here with Tony from Gravelwood Car Sales doing a load of work around our podcast Behind the Glass. But today, taking a break from the podcast promotion to indulge in my and Tony's love for Ferrari. As you might have been able to tell from the view behind me, I've come to visit Ferrari collector David Lee. I last met up with David back in, I think, 2017 when he very kindly let me come down to his garage and film his amazing collection of cars. Well, since then, he's added quite a few cars to that collection, so I'm back to check out his latest Prancing Horse editions. For someone like me, this place is literally Ferrari Heaven. I'd forgotten how impressive this room or garage or underground bunker is. The door opened and I was just like, oh, I must have died and gone to heaven. Now, if you saw my video back in 2017, or maybe you just follow a lot of car accounts on Instagram, you're probably familiar with the cars behind me, because I think David's had them for a while. I definitely remember seeing the F40 last time I was here, probably the F50 as well, maybe even the Enzo. Apparently, the LaFerrari Aperta wasn't here last time that I was. Unbelievably cool to see. I'm not going to be blasé about it, but I am going to skip past it because the new additions. Since I was last here, David clearly woke up one morning and went, well, my red Ferrari collection is beautiful, but I wouldn't mind having one in yellow. Welcome to the yellow side of the room. So yes, we now have a yellow Enzo, a yellow F50, yellow Daytona Spider. There's also a yellow F40, not here right now, but I mean, I kind of love this man. It's so ridiculously over the top, but brilliant. I'm going to try and encourage him today to start the green collection, because why not? So starting off in the top corner, we have this beautiful 250 Lusso Competizione. I can't remember if he calls it exactly that or another name, but it is a sort of competition style version of the beautiful 250 Lusso, a much more sort of elongated body shape, 250 short wheelbase or the 250 GTO, but very cool with the yellow paint, but also blue seats. I talk about it a lot when I film classic Ferraris. Loads of classics, especially competition Ferraris, have blue seats, and you don't see it too much on modern cars, but you do here, because let me introduce David's matching F12 TDF. So yeah, these two as a pair, absolutely mega with those blue seats inside. It's so cool to see, but you can see loads of other elements of the livery has been copied over, and just to see those two sitting next to each other, I think is pretty damn special. Of course, there was a 250 Tour de France back in the day, which is what this F12 TDF was named after. That is not a Tour de France, it's a Lusso like I mentioned, but still, it doesn't matter. Very cool to see these two cars. But check out the big hitters. Yes, a yellow Enzo and a yellow F50, literally mirroring the red Enzo and the red F50. It's absolutely mad. You only see things like this in a museum. Even the yellow rear view mirror, there we go, in the F50, very uniquely shaped mirror that you get in the F50. These two things are absolutely stunning, and as with all of David's cars, just absolutely beautifully maintained. The paintwork is fantastic. You can see a bit of the carbon weave on the F50. I mean, so cool. It's just different, it's just rare, because let's face it, when you're talking about the big Ferraris, the big five, or the F cars, whatever it might be, 288 GTO, F40, F50, Enzo, LAF, they are so often red. You know, whenever you see them in collections or coming up for auctions, this is how you tend to see them. By the way, just so you know, that is a US spec for my European viewers, so you get these slightly strange black sort of bands along the front bumper. But yes, that's the normal view. So seeing them in yellow is mega. Weirdly enough though, I'm not sure which I would choose. I actually think maybe I prefer the red. I am a cliched Ferrari fan, so as sort of, you know, maybe boring or as predictable as the red cars are, I do love them, but they're so cool to see those two. And let's not skip that lovely yellow Daytona Spider, a very rare thing as well. I have very briefly driven a Daytona before, and it was here in LA, well, to be specific, Beverly Hills. Not at all an experience like I thought it was going to be. I'd like to have another go now that I have a better understanding and appreciation for classics. But yeah, I mean, just look at that lineup. Which side are you choosing, people? Put in the comments right now below. We sort of almost missed the very casual 275 as well, which actually secretly might be my pick of the entire bunch. But yeah, are you a red person or are you a yellow person? It's like an M&M's advert, isn't it? But yeah, let me know in the comments which side of the room you would lean towards. Now, whilst I'm sure David would be the first to admit that he does have some quite bad OCD, it doesn't stretch so far as the fact that he would only buy a red or yellow Ferrari. Here's some other colours on some other Ferraris here. As you can see behind me, a beautiful tailor-made SF90 Spider, which I'm going to show you in more detail, and I think quite an incredible pista. So when David comes back, I'm actually going to ask him what this exact colour is. But as I mentioned, tailor-made means it's Ferrari's kind of unique specification program where you can choose options that aren't sort of available to everyone else. Of course, it increases the cost, but also the time of the production, but leaves you with theoretically a fairly unique car. And lots of details on this that I love. For example, this kind of silver paint down here on the front bumper, which then also carries into the wheels, the lovely kind of cream/tan interior, the black contrast roof. I know it's very popular on SF90s. I'm just not a fan of a contrast roof, but only thing which I would say for this particular car is it does tie into elements like the black down here, the black on the side blades, the black elements of the front bumper. So I'm going to give it to him. And this is, yeah, as I say, an SF90 Spider. So yeah, very cool to see. And actually the pista is also a Spider. The reason I love this, look at the interior. Long-term viewers of this channel will know I'm a massive fan of a jazzy interior. That's almost as jazzy as you could get. Red Alcantara with the red paint and the stripe. I mean, these things are just still so good looking. Of course, we all know Tony Gravelcastle, this is the best car in the world. He bangs on about it. I love them. I've had 15 of them. I'm so rich. But this actually is one of my favorite ones I've ever seen, even amongst his own cars. So yeah, big fan of that. From two very modern Ferraris, we then also have some more classics next to that beautiful 275, which I say I'm obsessed with. We've also got David's Dino project and a stunning 330. I guess the 330 Cabriolet, maybe that's what they would have called it back then. One of the most beautiful classic 60s Ferraris, in my personal opinion. And then finally, proof that David does actually like other cars that aren't just Ferraris, a couple of his other cars in his collection, a Ford GT and a big old Phantom. There are some other cars that he owns which aren't here currently, some non-Ferraris, including a Pagani Huayra, but I couldn't care less because, as I said at the beginning, I'm in Ferrari heaven, and I would happily just stand in this room for another 3 hours drooling on these things, but I guess let's cool David down to have a bit of a chat and ask why on earth he just woke up one morning and went, oh, I fancy some yellow cars. David, you are far too generous. Last time I came to see you, I don't think you'll remember, but I probably only had like 120,000 subscribers. And you threw open the doors to your garage. You're like, film what you want. I was like, this is amazing. And now, rather than catch up and chat in the garage, you went, well, let's take the Enzo out. So yes, of course.
Thank you. I'm really glad of everything you've done on social media. It's really wonderful because we met like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And that was great. And I was kind of, just starting out my social media and then just collecting and all that. But yeah, so we've both been, it's been some time now.
It has been some time, but it's awesome to reconnect. Obviously, you've got your channel now as well. You're doing a whole load of content. You're like my rival now. I need to kickstart with, I think, maybe the obvious question. Why the yellow cars?
Yeah, I was, and it's interesting because in a collector's journey, and I have a very much of a strategy and so forth. I collect all Ferraris, and I've collected the big five in red, which has always been kind of my passion. I love the classics, so I collect the classics as well. I've collected all the ones that I could collect,
Sure.
and then of course I get the new ones from the dealer. So, at some point I was thinking, where do I go from here? And of course I would have wanted to buy a 250 GTO or 250 short wheelbase.
Who doesn't?
Yeah, right. But those are bigger challenge, longer range goals.
Sure.
So. In terms of something that it's achievable right now, I thought, well, why don't? For one reason, I had epiphany at night, and I woke up and I said, wait a minute, I could just collect another set of the big fives. But and I was thinking, well, what should I do? Should I do different color ones? Or have different color ones? But then I came to the realization that maybe what I should do is to do all in yellow. So then I started to do that, and just this year alone, I bought 3 of them. I bought the yellow F40, yellow Enzo, which we're in, and then the yellow F50. So I have a couple to go.
That's super cool, dude. I mean, I love that it was almost as random of you going just, well, I should buy some more cars, I suppose. And yellow's obviously, it's a historic Ferrari colour, so it does make sense. Is a yellow 288 GTO a thing? Do those exist? Do they?
Well, the factory never painted one yellow from the factory.
Okay, because they were all red, right?
They were all red.
Sure.
But you never know. They do special stuff for special people, like the Sultan Brunei. They did a black one for him.
Yes, good point.
And so you kind of look into it, and you might find out, there's some special deals done for special people. What I do know is there was a prototype one that was brought back to the factory to be painted yellow. So that exists. And I also know of another that's a Ferrari dealer. His personal car he had painted yellow. Okay. So there are some out there. So we're trying to uncover like a secret, like a treasure, treasure hunt.
But do you think you are now an obsessive collector? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, are you just setting yourself tasks and goals?
Part of the journey of collecting is the hunt, and the hunt is it's enjoyable, because sometimes when you achieve the hunt, then your enjoyment is short-lived. So the hunt process, you got to enjoy to the maximum extent.
Stretch it out.
Yeah, stretch it out, enjoy it. Like I said, I am pretty compulsive. I did already buy 3 of the yellow this year already. So the LaFerrari yellow and the 288, those are my final pieces, and so we're just trying to be patient. But,
Stretch out the hunt. Don't rush it, man. Don't rush it.
Yeah.
Super cool. And look, here we are in an Enzo. For me, this is like one of my favorite. Like, this was my poster hypercar growing up. It sounds the bomb. It looks amazing. The Schumacher kind of moment.
I love all of them, and but I have to say, yellow is cool. It pops. It's amazing.
It really pops. I mean, out here now in the Californian sun, I mean, dude, this is so good.
It really is.
And I keep catching the reflection in the wing mirror. The car looks amazing. Look at this. I'm living my best life right now, mate. Thank you very much for this. And it's great that you're sharing these cars, because so often they get tucked away, and I think, obviously with the social media and stuff, that helps, but I always see you out and about at shows and things, and it's cool to see. And I did try and point out back at the garage that you do have cars that aren't just Ferraris. You do have some other things as well.
I do.
So what can I encourage you to start collecting next?
It's great. I mean, I appreciate a lot of cars. Porsche makes great cars, right?
Yeah.
So those 911s are great. And I have a GT3 coming, GT4 RS.
You got a GT3 with a wing or a touring?
I got the wing. I like the wing. I like the aggressive look.
Did they tell you when it's coming?
It should be end of the year.
So I also have a GT3 coming. They told me
nice.
end of the year.
Nice.
But dude, I'm delayed because no carbon ceramics.
Oh my gosh.
So if yours turns up before, I'm flying in, I'm stealing it.
But that's an amazing car. I was at the Porsche Experience Center, and we were just driving that thing. It's so precise. It's such a precise car.
Absolutely.
And that itself, it's really amazing. That car, GT3 is amazing. GT3 RS,
It's-
GT4 RS. You know.
It's great as they are, though. For me personally, it is hard to beat that badge on the steering wheel, that prancing horse.
Yeah, no doubt.
The emotion, the connection,
Yes,
and
100%.
we're here now just cruising in an Enzo, if that's even a thing that you can do,
Yeah.
and it's just the best. So, oh mate, thank you very much. It's very cool. I'm going to continue to enjoy this yellow paint, which we're getting a lot of,
Yes.
and the drive. And yeah, thank you so much for having me back, and
No
it's been great
worries.
to catch up.
Exactly.
Cheers, man.
Thanks, yeah, cheers.